What's up? We're just getting himself together. Have a stage 6 today, stage 6 today, stage 6. So much stuff happened today in stage 6. And we're going to just get into it. It was rain. It was accidents, crashes. Wrong thing. Accidents, crashes, race stopped and neutralized. Riders getting relegated. Missed time moves. Everything happened today. Everything happened today. But we're going to talk about the Giro d'Italia. We got to talk about the Giro d'Italia because that's where it's all happening right about now. It was a mad day, but it was super exciting. And then we also gonna talk about the other two races, which was the Tour of Hungary and the 4 days of Dunkirk. Four beautiful days of Dunkirk. So if you're just coming on in, I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button. I appreciate you even more. And we are doing this. This is pretty. It's pretty crazy. Like the consistency and just being able to just do this, and I'm really enjoying it now. I'm really getting into each day, each stage, and each rider. And even though there's so many races going on, it's still quite enjoyable. I mean, there's a lot going on. I thought like after Monday it'll calm down. I only have the Giro to cover, but it's just every day. It's just races. So you got the tour of the 4 days of Dunkirk, and then you got the tour of Hungary along with the Giro. But then I believe the Tour of Hungary might still be going, and then you got races over the weekend. So it's just gonna be crazy. And I'm studying for cybersecurity as well too. So it is what it is. But anyway, welcome in, welcome in. I appreciate you. And if you hit the like button, thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's get things started with who are we gonna start off with? Louis Askey. Louis Askey, he's got his second pro win. He's in the 4 days of Dunkirk. He's got his second pro win. And look how he finished. When he finished, his foot came out of the pedal. He's not styling anything. Like he's sprinting so hard, his foot came out of the pedal. And the finish for the 4 days of Dunkirk was sort of crazy because it it's sort of like it was really turny and twisty and everything. And yeah, it was a really technical finish. And he won, I think, last week, and he won today in the same fashion, coming up a hill, and he came off that corner, and he saw everyone was sleeping, and he said, "Hey, I'm going for it." And Louis Askey just went for it, and he was just, out of there like last year. And it was a great win for him to see him get his second pro win. And I just want to say to you, if you want to see a full breakdown of the Giro d'Italia, I have the video. I just posted up the video, and I just break the whole thing down so you can see all of the footage and everything, how the sprint went, where out, and everything, complete breakdown. So if you want to see the full breakdown of the Giro d'Italia, you can go to that after we get done here. We're not going to be long. So that was Louis Askey. Louis Askey, young man rider for Groupama FDJ, and it was just amazing. The young man is just doing some really amazing things. And then the other big win today, I went to Denny Van Poppel. Denny Van Poppel. He hasn't won a race in over 2 years, and in 2 years, after 2 years of not winning a race, in 2 days he's won back to back to the Tour of Hungary. So he got the yellow jersey yesterday. So he's going to stay in the yellow jersey because he won today's stage. So he's 2 days in a row and he's won 2 stages. That's crazy. Then the big thing about what happened today was the guy that he rides for, who he does the lead off for, Sam Welsford, crashed. So Sam had a big crash, him and a couple other teammates, and I believe they had to medevac him out of there. But hopefully, prayers up that those guys are okay and they'll be back to fight another day. They won't be back for this race, but hopefully they'll be back to fight another day. And Danny Van Poppel, he just literally just pipped Dylan Groenewegen. Is it Dylan Groenewegen? No, it's not Dylan Groenewegen. Who did he pip at the line? He just pipped him at the line, and it was just amazing to see, because everyone was saying, okay, let me just get his name right. Let me just give you the right. I believe it's Dylan Groenewegen. That's who it was, Dylan Groenewegen. He picked Dylan Groenewegen at the line, and yeah, and the crazy thing about that is that Dylan Groenewegen had the perfect lead out train, and the J.K. Lula guys, it was picture perfect right down to like the last guy. Dylan went, but Van Poppel was on Dylan's wheel, and it was just perfect. It was just a perfect, like this perfect move, just perfectly timed. The only other person that got left out was the guy from UAE. What's his name? Was it from UAE? So we got Tim Tottenberg got third place, and Milano, Juan Sebastian Milano, fast guy, but he got caught on the barriers and he couldn't come out of the barriers. And then when he did come out, he had a space and he was trying to get through, but Groenewegen and Van Poppel were like this, and then where my thumb is where where Milano was, and he was trying to come through, and that door was closed, and no way, there was no interferences or nothing. He just picked a bad line, and he timed it wrong, but he had the speed. So in this race, Milano has the speed to win. So it's going to be, and Tim Teutenberg got a third place again. He got up there, so it's crazy. Like Tim Teutenberg is fast, and people are not paying him any attention. But I think it's those. Then you throw Kopecky in there, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting next few stages. I'm not quite sure what tomorrow's stage looks like. Let's have a quick look at tomorrow's stage, see if it's flat again, if it's going to be a sprinter's day, or if it's a nope. It's climbing. It's climbing. It's a climbing finish. So it's going to be a completely different group. So that yellow jersey probably will come off the back of Van Poppel tomorrow, more than likely. So yeah, it's a climb to the finish. So it's going to be a tough day tomorrow. It's Van Poppel will be hard pressed to keep that jersey tomorrow. So anyway, that's what happened with the Tour of Hungary. And just like like to see Van Poppel win 2 stages after not winning for 2 years, it's flipping amazing. It's good to see. I'm happy for him, and this is what cycling needs, like this resurgence of like certain riders. And for the race of the day, so much stuff happened in this race today. I mean, so much stuff. So they started the race. Race was going good. They got to the first climb. Uh, we had a breakaway. The mountain points went. The guy wearing the blue jersey, he got his points in the mountains. Up in the mountain jersey. So cool. Then we come off the back of that big mountain, and then it starts to rain. So okay, cool. So now we're using a little caution. Everybody's putting the raincoats on. Nice. Let's get back. Let's get to the end of this race. Just everybody arrive alive. And the going down is like, it's looked like an innocuous type of like just down here. It wasn't anything really major or serious. They come into the corner. You got the Visma guys on the front, so they were all pretty safe because the whole team was on the front. And as they go around this corner, it wasn't even a sharp corner; it was a slight bend. But the downhill that they were going down, they creates a considerable amount of inertia, and the road was slicky as well with some paint on the lines. So what happens is, if you just touch the brakes a little bit, and then if you hit that white painted line as well, you're going to get the same thing. So I think that's what happened. The rider gets the line because if you watch his wheel, like if you go onto my Instagram, you can see all of the videos. But if you watch his wheel, it just goes, just like, does that like thing where it slipped out rather than, someone knocked it down. So that did happen, and that was crazy to see that. But what happened after that? You had a crazy um, you had a crazy chain reaction after that. And because they were at the front, it was at a corner, they were going downhill. Like maybe 20 riders after that crashed after that. 20 riders crashed after that. And after it was just crazy. Just crash, 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 crash. And then they had to neutralize the race. They had to stop the race because there's a protocol that you need to have sufficient uh, medical vehicles following the race. And because so many guys went down, so many people had to be attended to. So because they don't have the proper, it's safety. You want to be able to, if something happens, you have to, and it's, it's all like part of the race rules and procedures and laws and rules and bylaws and everything. You just can't have a race without any event. Any event you do, whether you play in basketball, football, cricket, or whatever, requires like some type of medical staff, like in on the side to attend to anybody, to attend to any injuries. So basically, that's what happened. So many guys went down. all of the medical vehicles and assists were they were occupied, so there was no way the race could continue, and they actually neutralized the race. They let it ride for like 5 more kilometers, and they stopped it. Then after that, they said, okay, you know what? The finish is sort of sketchy. So what we're going to do, we're going to neutralize the race, but we are going to have a sprint for the finish. So there will be a winner on the stage, but there won't be any um, um, sprint points awarded, and there will be no separation of time. So no matter where you finish, whether you finish 5 minutes behind or you finish an hour behind, everyone will get the same time. So that's what happened. But the sprint was very good, very interesting. Olaf Koy, I think Olaf Koy, this was his day to win. I think he should have won. Like being that Visma really don't do the sprint thing that often. I think that's where they messed it up, because they're not as fine tuned as like an Alpecin or a Trek. They're not as fine tuned as these guys, because this is not what they do. They don't do the sprint lead out all of the time. So what was the man for Olaf Koy to get Olaf Koy to the front? And Walt made a move, like he saw them slowing up, or someone up the front. So Walt was just taking Olaf Koy to the front, and as Walt got to the front, he just kept going. And instead of Olaf Koy staying on his wheel, Olaf Koy stops, and he stops with everyone else. Like he just sits in the group with everyone else. And then what ended up happening is, because Walt didn't see what happened, and Walt kept going and opened up a gap between him and everybody else. And then Walt got such a big gap, it looked like he might win the stage, because he was only like 700 meters from the line. And basically, that was Olaf Koy's move right there. If Olaf Koy had stayed on Walt's wheel, when Walt died, when I say died, when Walt when his legs gave out, he was about 100 meters from the line, which is the perfect distance for Olaf Koy. And if Olaf Koy's at the front, even if Walt's dying, he has the advantage, because he's leading out the sprint 100 meters. And I believe Olaf Koy is probably the fastest person there. Kaden is probably close, but I think Olaf Koy is the fastest person there. And I think Olaf Koy wins that sprint had he followed Walt Van Aert, but he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He just like, man, I don't know what's going on. But like I said, I think it's lack of practice, because Visma, they don't usually do the lead out thing. That's not their thing. They're usually working for guys on GC and all of that stuff. So, maybe this is something new that they're going to have to learn, because they got Matthew Brennan coming through. They got some fast people coming through. Then you got the guy Ziegel that just won the other day as well too. So they got some fast people. So they need to work on that and need to get that train going. And yeah, they just need to work on that. But aside from that, so Olaf Koy messed that up, and then he tried to wait, because he wanted to sort of like piggyback off the other guys that were going to go. And he had Moschetti. He started to go, but he left the space on the inside. So Olaf Koy, he's like taking that space. And the crazy thing is, once you can see a guy's wheel next to you, you can't keep going left on him. You can't ride him into the barriers. You got to, like, give way. Now, if you're going past him, is a different thing. But if you can see him on the inside of you and you're not going anywhere, you come in, that's odd. You get it relegated. You get it disqualified, and that's what happened. So Moschetti, you seen Olaf Koy coming up on the inside. Literally, he was elbowing the guy, elbow him in, and if he would have went down, that would not have been nice, man. It wouldn't have been pretty at all. So, and luckily he didn't go down. And Olaf Koy was like, "That's so crazy, man. You took my opportunity for a stage win. I can't." And Moschetti, what happened was he finished in eighth. He ended up finishing eighth. And after they looked at that, obviously Visma complained, and Visma didn't have to complain, because that was so blatant. He got relegated to last place on the race. So the thing where Q36.5 lose out is because they are not a world tour team. They got an invitation, so they can use all the UCI points they can get. So there were UCI points to gain in the finish. And going from eighth place, which was 35 points, to 0 points, those are valuable points. Tom Pickard got some good points yesterday, and the points on top of today make good points. It all adds up. And he lost those because he wasn't thinking. He was just doing some wild crap. He's just doing some wild crap. And he almost rode Olaf Koy into the barrier. And that's no fun, to be getting ridden into the barrier. Those guys are doing top speed, and you come down, it hurts. It flipping hurts. So Kaden Groves, while Mascati was riding Olaf Koy into the barriers, Kaden Grove took off and won the sprint convincingly and easily, and well deserved as well. It was a strange day. But the other strange thing that happened was just before the finish, about 4K before the finish, some protesters run out with some the tape that they mask off a crime scene or accident scene. They ran across these guys with this tape and some other stuff, literally trying to stop. Now, if that tape would have got caught in the wheel or something, man, if I was there, I would have just jumped on them and punched them. Just they deserve a punch in the back of the head. It's one thing to do your protest, but don't endanger nobody. It's like it's crazy. How you gonna endanger? I can't believe like people like have that little common sense to do something like that. So anyway, that's how the race went. That's the Giro d'Italia. That's the Tour of Hungary and the 4 days of Dunkirk. So join us tomorrow live. We're gonna bring you back live, and it depends on what type of day it is tomorrow. But tomorrow's gonna be a climbing day in the Tour of Hungary. I mean, yeah, the Tour of Hungary is going to be a climbing day, and then the Giro is going to be a climbing day. So I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of videos to try to get done. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope you hit the like button. I appreciate you if you did, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember, like if you want to see the footage from the Giro d'Italia, just posted the video, and it's Kaden Groves, and it's titled Caden's Maiden, and it's because this is his first year. I mean, his first year, his first win for 2025. So go check out. You can see all the footage and you can see everything. It was a really good race, a really interesting race, and you can even see where the officials are pointing at each other. We're gonna do this and da da da. So it was a good day. Anyway, initially be safe with your legs. Media. Appreciate you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow.